Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my debate of the week, and this one is about the future of the WWE. Let's be honest here, we need new stars in the main event scene. And a lot of the problem that stars are not getting anywhere is because of Vince and Kenny McMahon. Look, Vince is here. Everybody under him are yes men. And others who were never prejudiced or racist when they came into the business and came under the WWE became like that because of Vince. We know this. This isn't something we already don't know. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because of the person that's in the title. Titus O'Neil. Now the reason I've chosen him to talk about is putting it in this respect. If you don't care about any of that bullshit of the prejudice, the racist, the politicking, if this is taken out of the equation, which we know it's not going to, this is theoretical. But if you didn't have to worry about that stuff, could a Titus O'Neil become a superstar for the WWE in the present and into the future? I believe he can. He has four tools of the trade. Now those traits that you need in wrestling is a great physique, charisma, the ability to talk inside the ring and outside the ring. It doesn't make a difference. It's pretty much the same stuff. To be able to work in the ring and to be able to tell a story in the ring. And those two are totally different. If you don't know the difference, think about it for a minute. You know how to run, but do you know how to run like an Olympic runner? You have to be trained to sprint like an Olympic sprinter. Just running really fast doesn't mean you're an Olympic sprinter knowing all the rules and regulations for it. So hearing someone say working in the ring and telling a story in the ring are two totally different things. They are. And I believe this is what Titus O'Neil has. He has the proper physique. He's a very, very well-built man. He has huge amounts of charisma. He can, literally they say, you can talk the leaves off the trees. That's how great you are. If that's how people say it. He has a great ability to talk. He's funny. He can talk well. For me personally, he's good in the ring. It doesn't mean he's great, but he's good. They will call you adequate. I believe he's good enough in the ring that he can work it. But I do not believe he can tell a story very well. I really believe if he's going to tell a story, he has to have someone who has that ability, like a ring general as they call it. But he does have four tools of the trade. And this is what I would do with him. Right now he's working with Slater. Slater Gator, baby! And a stupid mini Gator Hornswoggle. What is fucking wrong with WWE? They gotta throw Hornswoggle out there and those stupid gimmicks. We need more midget wrestlers. I'm gonna say it right now. We need more wrestlers who are little people because they really attract a lot of people to the product they do. Not insulting anyone in that height and that physique, but they can do the job well. But going back to Titus O'Neil, this is what I would do with him. If I was the person who had that ability to build him up, this is what I would do. Right now, he is a heel. Let's say he gets hurt and he is out for the next couple of months. I'm just saying by storyline wise. Doesn't mean he has to be really hurt. They just keep him in the back and he does nothing. When he comes back, he has a manager. Now I had to think about who would be the best manager for him to come back. And come back as a face. Then switch to heel and then switch to face. I want to make it clear now. So if I begin to lose you, you'll understand what I'm saying. He's a heel. He turns face when he gets hurt. Then he turns heelish, and then he turns face again. I know that's confusing, but you'll get my point. I had to think carefully who would be the best manager for a Titus O'Neil. And I thought if it was possible to take anybody out of history, you could say classy Freddie Blassie, if it was possible for him to work. You could say Jimmy Hart. You could say Jim Cornette. You could say well, it would be stretching it with a Paul Heyman because of what happened with him and Brock Lesnar. A lot of people are still not fond of him for what he's done and had been talking and talking about it. But I finally figured of one person that could make it work, who is as funny and as charismatic, of course, way over a Titus because he's been in the business longer. And that would be The Rock Dwayne Johnson. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I picked The Rock for a purpose. As I said in the very beginning of this, Titus O'Neil, who would be a heel, would, let's say he got attacked by Brock Lesnar and he got hurt and he was out for about 4 months. He turns face when he comes back, but he comes back with The Rock, who becomes his manager, and Titus O'Neil becomes his protege. After he becomes his protege, he's saying, I can see you and me, Titus. I know that you could be the next trailblazing, women-eating, pie-eating, The Rock. And you know what he does? He dresses him up as Rocky Maivia. When he first came out in the 90s, putting on a damn wig on his head, sticking on it with some glue or some, hair glue, and make him go out there and perform like he did back in the 90s. This is building up to something. I know you're going to say, dude, this is stupid. Wait. The Rock we're dealing with here, who would still be acting face-like, would be trying to get as much attention on himself as possible. And then you guys would realize, this isn't like The Rock, the Brahma Bull that we've been seeing, especially going after Rusev right now. This is Hollywood Rock. He's doing whatever he can to get any type of thing he wants. He wants popularity, he wants fame, he wants stardom, and he's going to use a Titus O'Neil as his proxy to get whatever the hell he wants. And he makes fun of Titus, and he uses Titus to the point where he's having him as his lackey mainly. And Titus doesn't always wrestle the way he's supposed to. He's basically getting his ass squashed because of The Rock screwing him over to make himself look good. Eventually, The Rock goes after the IC Championship. Yes, I said that. Even if it is the IC Championship, The Rock can make it relevant, which will help the IC Championship itself. Now, eventually, with it going this bad, Titus gets so tired, like it happened in 2012 between A-Rye and The Miz. A-Rye got used and got abused and got used and abused until he broke away from him and acted like a damn beast. This is what we do with Titus O'Neil. He's working with The Rock. They're both heels. Titus changed from a face to a heel working with The Rock. Because The Rock turned heel, of course Titus had to turn heel. But then, as time went on, Titus couldn't stand it no more. He says, oh, hell no. I had enough of this mess. I'm going to beat the living hell out of The Rock. And he lays waste to The Rock and becomes a beast. They have a feud. Titus O'Neil eventually gets the IC Championship from The Rock. The Rock faces him a couple of times. He beats his ass, and then The Rock leaves like he's supposed to. He is a star. He's not supposed to stay there and constantly fight with Titus O'Neil. With Titus now being champion, and this goes with us, let's say this goes with the 2014 calendar. In the beginning of the year, Titus O'Neil meets Brock Lesnar in a match, and he gets squashed, badly hurt supposedly. Part of the storyline. He's out for a couple of months. By WrestleMania, he comes back for his triumphant return on WrestleMania with The Rock, being faces. Then from there, by the time you hit SummerSlam, they already were turning heel. The Rock has now shown his Hollywood Rock side, and Titus O'Neil is his lackey, doing things for him, getting his ass kicked in the ring, and The Rock getting all the heat and the prestige he wants. By the time we get to Hell in a Cell, The Rock finally got his ass kicked by Titus O'Neil. And then the next month, Titus O'Neil wins the IC Championship. The next month in December with TLC, Titus O'Neil finally defeats The Rock permanently, and The Rock is gone. And then it's only Titus O'Neil. And this is what I would do for 2015 with Titus. I would put him in the Royal Rumble as one of the first 5 participants. Yes, I wouldn't make him 1. I'd probably make him 4 or 3. Somewhere in there where he would last almost to the end of the Royal Rumble, probably be one of the last 3 or 4, and then he would lose. He doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. He just needs to be spotlighted as the beast that he is, And they keep progressing him. Eventually, by the time he reaches Elimination Chamber, he goes up against a person named Keith Orton. Randall Keith Orton, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Ring Boner himself. And he keeps building up until he reaches WrestleMania. And then, finally, after having a match for the IC Championship in WrestleMania, he loses it to somebody. Doesn't matter who. I would suggest it would be Mark Henry. Because he would be the best legit large guy that could actually take it from him. But by then, he's over so much. He can finally go into the main title scene and eventually reach a John Cena and go after the WWE World Heavyweight Champion by next SummerSlam. I know you're saying, dude, are you crazy? John Cena? He buries people. I know, but if this wasn't the case of John Cena constantly burying people like a Bray Wyatt, a Bad News Barrett, a Ryback, and anybody else, if this was done properly, by SummerSlam, you would have Titus O'Neil facing John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and winning it. Now, the reason I gave you such a long, lengthy thing, and I know you might not have been totally interested in it, but this is what I believe the WWE could do with a Titus O'Neil. He has the size. He can talk very well. He has charisma. He even can do a decent amount of work in the ring. This is somebody the WWE could push into the future. They need new stars. Who do they got right now that can really help them? They had to call back the fucking Rock to face Rusev. Not because they didn't have a great long-term plan for Rusev. It's because they just lost a whole bunch of people. You don't have Daniel Bryan there. You don't have Roman Reigns there. Hell, Ryback, and if you've seen my debate of the week on Ryback and Roman Reigns, they're both out due to injury. Even if Ryback has some herniated disc, he's out. And he was a huge up-and-coming star until the WWE buried him. I'm just showing you what a possibility could be. Titus O'Neil is a great possibility. He has all the tools we need to make us interested in this business. Look, I'm going to say this, and I believe NJ said this honestly and very clearly on his channel of the British Fist. If you don't like wrestling, why are you watching it? Turn the damn thing off. Now, I'm not telling you to turn off wrestling because the WWE sucks like hell, and TNA and ROH and some of the other promotions suck like hell. In many cases, they do. But one of the things we love about wrestling is because it helps you to imagine, to basically dream what could be, what can't be. This is one of the reasons why we love wrestling so much and not go crazy over, what is it, like, I hate to say soap operas. In a sense, you could say wrestling's like a soap opera, but it's a physical type of media that we love to see. We want to see the great guy beat the bad guy. We want to see the bad guy who's really cool beat the great guy. We want to see things that's not normally seen in society. And I believe that Titus O'Neil could fit that. But I'd like to hear your idea about this. So I hope you enjoyed this debate of the week. Please give me a comment below. Tell me what you think about if it's Titus that you would love to be pushed. Who would you like to see pushed? And how would you do it? Write it below in my comments. Dude, I don't care if you leave 100 words there saying what you want to say. Not only will I read it and enjoy it, everyone else will see what you feel. So I hope you have a good day, have a good night,